sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you...
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite from December the 29th, 2021. Before we get into that, though, we have to talk about AEW's new merchandise. So apparently Adam Cole has a new t-shirt, and so does Cody Rhodes. So I looked at these shirts, and I said to myself, no adult will ever wear these shirts. I know WWE shirts are pretty lame. Wrestling shirts these days tend to be very lame, mainly because people don't really know what's going on. You know, they don't really understand because wrestling isn't as cool as it used to be. But nothing makes you look more like a dork than this Super Click shirt. I mean, it's Adam Cole and the Young Bucks. It's pink. Everybody's smiling. I mean, look at this. This has some of the worst animation. This is like very, very cheap Marvel animation. This is awful, truly awful stuff. This is awful stuff. Why would you sell this to other human beings? But since I know AEW's fan base is mostly male and mostly over the age of 30, you have to ask the question, what kind of adult male would buy this shirt? I don't know. Why would you sell this shirt? This shirt sucks. Why would anybody buy Young Bucks merchandise? Period. Do you want to come across like a teenage girl? Is that your goal in life? To look as stupid and dorky as possible? Who would wear this? And you'd be ashamed to wear it anywhere but to an AEW show. Look, it's cool. People buy clothes for occasions, you know? You wouldn't wear a suit to an AEW show. So you would wear a Super Click shirt with the Young Bucks and Adam Cole looking as substantially less heterosexual as possible. This shirt sucks. I've seen so much bad AEW merchandise that we probably need to start doing a review of merchandise. And I'm really considering just going to AEW shop one day when I'm in a bad mood like I am today. I'm in a real bad mood after I got some real bad news. So I really needed a pick-me-up. I was hoping AEW Dynamite was going to bring it. But instead, what I get is Super Click shirts. This shit is awful. But what's even worse than this is the Cody Rhodes shirt. The Cody Rhodes shirt is for even bigger dorks. It says heel, babyface, winner. And it's like check boxes there. And it doesn't check either box. It just says Cody's a winner. This pretentious horse shit. Where are you going to wear this shirt? What fine dining establishment is going to let you in the building wearing this shirt? If you walked into Applebee's wearing this shirt, they're going to kick you out. If you walked into Texas Roadhouse wearing this shirt, you'll get thrown out on your ass. This shirt is completely inappropriate at 90% of all establishments in the United States. This shirt sucks. Why would you make this shirt? Why is this the focus of your character? This is stupid. El stupido. It's stupid. This is a stupid shirt. This is stupid gear. They must think their fan base is complete and total puppies. They just eat out of the same trough that they shit in. You would have to. At least make cool merchandise. For Christ's sake. You have the benefit of being a TV-14 company. Make cool merchandise. That's all you really got to do. I mean, for Christ's sake. No wonder it's Hook's shirt that just says Hook and it sells. It's less stupid than all these designs that they're coming up with. All of your graphic designing and all of these people with their Canva and what's that other shit that people are using these days? I don't know. I don't know nothing about graphic design. But whatever master's degrees in graphic designs you didn't hire the Young Bucks wife or whatever the hell who's doing all this, they need to be fired. The graphic design industry is trash. As we can look at how logos have changed over the years, not just wrestling logos, but logos, period. A lot of companies have changed their logos to try to be more simplistic, and they're absolute garbage. And now the wrestling shirts are absolute garbage. It's as low effort as possible. It's simply for nerds and weirdos. Nobody, your stuff needs to look like something people would wear, at least to the bar. At least. I can see a guy in an Austin 316 shirt in the bar. Because it got a skull on it. You know? A smoking skull at that. You know? Maybe DX gear, maybe that's a bridge too far. Maybe NWO gear is a little bridge too far. You know? Nothing, you know, it's cool because of the scratchiness of the logos and stuff like that, but it's simple. You know? Simple isn't, there's nothing wrong with being simple. It's only bad when it sucks. This Super Click shirt, awful. It looks like some child drew it. And hell, it'd probably be my luck that I rag on that damn shirt and I find out some Make-A-Wish kid is the one who designed it. Well, guess what? Even if that was the case, that Make-A-Wish kid needs to take over some art classes. That shirt sucks. This heel babyface insider terms on your shirt, this shirt sucks. It's not even tongue-in-cheek, silly like the Roman Reigns shirt. That was at least what it had insider terms on there. It was kind of tongue-in-cheek. It's a shot. You know, it's stupid, but it doesn't suck that bad. This Cody Rhodes shirt is abysmal. Let's get into this bad show. I am embarrassed that I sat down and watched this show. JR is back. That's a good thing. JR completed his cancer treatments. It actually seemed like he beat cancer pretty easily. Like, cancer did the job. But I love JR. Glad JR is back. You know, it's Wednesday. You know what that means. It means 8-man tags, 10-man tags, and trios matches all night. That's what it means. First match is a 10-man tag. Can they coexist? Apparently not. Jurassic Express, Lucha Brothers, and Christian versus FTR, Private Party, and Matt Hardy. It was just people everywhere. I mean, that's basically what these matches are. All night, it was just guys everywhere. People running and coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. I was just kind of like, whatever. Just throw your hands up, sit back, have myself a piece of apple pie. I wasn't even supposed to be eating that shit, but hey, I got some bad news today. So I figure I need some comfort. So in any event, Christian is up getting the pin because he doesn't fucking matter anymore. Why would we ever need to put Christian over at any point ever? This is the first match he's had in like 3 months, and he loses. He lost to FTR. Matt Hardy actually won a match. I can't believe it. Private Party wins a match on the last show. Whatever. Christian got into it with Penta because they were blind tagging each other. It seemed like the silliest reason ever to really get into an argument. I always hate that. It's so contrived. It's so silly. You know, you blind tag? What are you blind tagging for, bruh? You know, like, I got this. Like, it's annoying, but not enough to distract me. We can talk about it after we win, you know? So later in the show, Christian got in the face of the Lucha Brothers, challenged the Lucha Brothers on behalf of Jurassic Express. You know, Jungle Boy isn't a man. He don't make challenges himself. He has Uncle Christian to make the challenges for him. Uncle Christian, could you tell him that I want a tag team title match, please? Yeah. I got it. I'll do it for you. Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. Alex Abrahantes then burned Christian in the stupidest way possible. He says that Christian is supposed to be a legend, which I was told he is. I believe he is. Christian is awesome. But then Penta says that Christian is not a good tag team partner. And that if Jungle Boy is supposed to be the future, maybe he should let go of the past. All right. I like that last part. That first part makes no sense. Christian is a tag team legend. I mean, to say he's not a good tag team partner is quite frankly the height of stupidity. But, okay, you want to tell Jungle Boy you want to be the future, you have to let go of the past. Okay, cool. I like that. He's sowing dissension between Jungle Boy and Christian. And Jungle Boy and Christian and all of those guys, they already have some dissension there. Christian caused them to lose. He's being very aggressive. He's being very vocal, too. Christian is being kind of a dick. I see a heel turn coming for him. He's being a little bit of a dick. And maybe he will actually have some momentum as a heel. Likely not, because AEW, like most pro wrestling companies, when they made sense, is a babyface promotion. So being a heel is basically just lining yourself up to get killed over and over and over again. So the Christian heel turn works, okay. Where do we go? Do Christian just have an extended program with Jungle Boy? I think that's a good thing. Let's say that works. Let's say we go with that. After Jungle Boy beats him like twice, what does Christian do after that? That's the question. Because what was he doing before that? They have nothing for him. So if he turns heel, at least he has a significant feud with Jungle Boy that's right there. He was Jungle Boy's mentor. Jungle Boy, continues to be a good guy. Christian wanted him to turn heel, wanted to have some killer instinct. He doesn't have it. He doesn't want it or whatever. We got a nice little storyline there. Okay, cool. But what happens after that? How long can you actually do that story? I don't know. And then what do you do with Luchasaurus and Christian? Does Christian beat Luchasaurus and lose to Jungle Boy? Does he lose to both of them? I don't know. Seems very, very strange to me that we would put Christian in that position. But it seems like that heel turn is coming. It seems like it's coming. All right, second match on the card, 2.0 and Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful, a.k.a. Santana and Ortiz. So we start this match with 2.0 and Daniel Garcia just being in the ring like jobbers from WWF Superstars or WCW Pro. They just there. Eddie Kingston storms the ring and they have this match. And again, it's just people everywhere. Guys flying all over the place, doing all kinds of stuff. Santana gets pinned. He gets rolled up and pinned. Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful lose again. Okay. So, they continued the beating. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia can continue to beat up on Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful. Very weird decision to have your tough guys look like goofs like this. Very, very weird decision. Your street smart, tough guys, to have them just get knocked around by these goobers. I mean, these guys are 2.0 are comedy job guys. I mean, let's be honest. They're not ever going to be the tag team champions or anything like that. They're not serious enough. So I think we had a conversation about this, but we had a Q&A where we talked about not 2.0, but Santana and Ortiz and how they deserve better. I know if you put in blank deserves better on Twitter, it's all WWE stuff. It's everybody deserves better. Everybody deserves better. But look at Santana and Ortiz. They've been here since the beginning. They've done a job to every single tag team that has come into AEW. Have beaten Santana and Ortiz at one point or another. Except the team that never left Dark or, Elevation or something. If you made it to the main show, you've probably beaten Santana and Ortiz at one point. And they were there at the beginning. Again, these guys came into this company red hot. They have got them under. Not over. Under. Eddie Kingston. When they do something with Eddie Kingston, he's one of the most over guys on the roster. The crowd in this match was chanting heavily for him. Most over guy in the match was Eddie Kingston. He lost again to Daniel Garcia in 2.0. Look, I understand you want to get the young guy, get him some wins. Okay, you can get him some wins. Not against these guys, though. These are not the right guys for that. These are your street smart, tough guys. These guys shouldn't be getting beat back-to-back weeks. This is where not having disqualifications or countouts or something like that really hurts. Because this is something where you would have had your annoying heels in 2.0 get really annoying, and Santana and Ortiz just decide to bust their fucking asses and get disqualified doing so. And people would have still cheered and not cared that they got disqualified as long as they destroyed these fucking guys. Now, of course, I understand why we had this particular finish. Because your street smart tough guys, your New York badasses, they're going to get jumped by all these rando Canadians. They're going to get beat up by them, stomped out by them. So that Chris Jericho with Floyd, let's not forget Floyd, because he named the baseball bat. So Jericho now has a baseball bat. Sting has a baseball bat. Darby Allin, I guess he has a baseball bat sometimes. It's just somebody sitting back there like a Tommy Dreamer garbage can full of baseball bats. That's probably just grab one and run to the ring. Fuck it. Everybody got baseball bat for you, baseball bat for you. There is no gimmicks. Everybody does everybody's shit. You would think Jericho would be smart enough to, get rid of the baseball bat gimmick because the baseball bat gimmick guy is there now. Jericho. Come on. So Jericho comes in, chases off the bad guys by himself because, he's Jericho. This takes forever because, of course, Jericho wants them to sing Judas. So this takes forever as Jericho chases them around his bat and he's swinging the bat around in a circle and all this kind of stuff. Then we get to the meat of this whole ordeal. As Eddie Kingston gets in Jericho's face, tells Jericho to get lost in no uncertain terms. Or Jericho is, barking back at him. They start going chest to chest. They start going nose to nose. Ortiz gets in there, tries to calm everything down, trying to separate these guys. They're kind of stuck in the middle. I'm like, okay, I actually like this. They're building off of the previous Rampage segment. They're building off of what Eddie Kingston says outside of his outside of television. He has said that he really doesn't want anything to do with Chris Jericho. And everybody knows that Chris Jericho is basically a leech, which is if you're a top guy, that's how you become a top guy. You hook up with whoever the up and coming guys are. If you're a Hulk Hogan, it behooves you to team up with the Macho Man. He's on the upswing. You want to make sure you stay up on the upswing too. You team up with him. You team up with the Ultimate Warrior. Of course you're going to do that. Why wouldn't you? If you're Dusty Rhodes, yeah, you're going to go out there with the Road Warriors. Sure. You're CM Punk, yeah, you're going to team up with Darby Allin. You want to make sure you stay relevant. That's a good way of making yourself stay relevant. It's not a bad thing. People talk about John Cena doing that too. It's like, yeah, it's a two-way street though. You take somebody who's super over and you cross paths with them with somebody who's on the way to being over. And it's not necessarily that they're leeching as much as they're adding. In some ways, they're taking away a little bit. Depends on how you're doing it. Like when John Cena was working with Crime Time, people are like, John Cena's trying to steal their heat. Like, he can't steal. He's far more over than they are. If anything, they get the boost from hanging out with him. Now, it doesn't, of course, it's not going to last because they are not John Cena. So obviously John Cena is going to be more over, but John Cena trying to help you along in your storyline, add in some of his star power to what you're doing segments with you, doing cool stuff with you. That can add to the what's the word I'm looking for? Let's look at it like a well. It fills you up a little bit more. People can now see that you are associated with people that they already like, and that's a good thing. It works the same way with heels. When heels kind of associate with one another, they become almost worse in a way. Now, sometimes it does backfire, like, when John Cena was teamed up with Zack Ryder. That was a mistake. All right? I'm not saying it always works. I'm saying it works more often than not. So, Jericho was trying to hop on the Eddie Kingston train. He was trying to help Eddie Kingston get over. Eddie Kingston, of course, rejected this. Didn't feel like he needed Jericho, which, to be honest, he doesn't. He had already done enough with CM Punk. And now that leads us to this situation where they're now, Eddie Kingston being a proud man, doesn't want that help. He doesn't want Jericho trying to leech off him, getting in his, invading his space, trying to help him. They have a common enemy though, which is very interesting. This is actually a good story because 2.0 jumped Jericho. So Jericho wasn't coming out there. This is what Jericho's position on this whole thing. I wasn't coming out there to help you. I'm coming out there to bash the skulls of these two weirdos who jumped me. It just so happens that they also are jumping you. You know, you would think in some instances baby faces will be able to put their differences aside, which is typical babyface stuff. It would be, we don't like each other, but we have a common goal. Typical babyface thing, and then you kind of fall apart afterwards. But they've kind of gone with the Eddie Kingston is a bit more obtuse than the average babyface, which works for his character. He's very bipolar in that way. He's very different too. So it works for Eddie Kingston to be like, even though you helped me, fuck you. I didn't want your help. I didn't ask for it. Because it goes along the same lines of when Eddie Kingston got saved by the referee. And he was like, you should have let me die. It's that pride. He doesn't want that. It's such an integral part of Eddie Kingston's character is the pride that he has in being able to take care of himself and not wanting to lose and not wanting to look weak or, in need of defense. So I like this. I like the Eddie Kingston Jericho dynamic. That's good. Everything else around it, though, is rotten. Santana Ortiz losing. It sucks. It sucks. We could have found another way to get here. Same thing. We could have found another way to get there. They could have lost by disqualification, like I said. Lost by count out because 2.0 ran away and then they attacked them from behind or something. 2.0 winning. I just can't fathom putting them over Santana and Ortiz, but hey, here we are. Let's talk about MJF. So MJF talked about being thrown over the top rope by Sting and landed on his head. He says if he worked for a more professional pro wrestling company, that wouldn't have happened. Then he said that CM Punk is just a distraction and that he's on now his journey for gold. Then he turned his attention to Wardlow. He says, Wardlow, I want you to win the TNT championship because then you'll have to surrender it to me. And Wardlow was like, huh? So MJF told him, all right, cut out all the power bombs. Just beat these guys. Get this thing over with. Because once you become TNT champion, I'll become TNT champion. Then he breaks out his contract and breaks it down in very, very good legalese that he is entitled to all championships and intellectual property created by Wardlow, who is an independent contractor signed to MJF. It is an absolute... I'm trying to put this as sensitive as possible. It's smarmy as hell, but that's how the wrestling business is. It's literally, that contract literally is how wrestling business works. You create intellectual property, it's owned by the company regardless. The Fiend, for instance, is owned by WWE. It's their intellectual property. Yes, it was created by Bray Wyatt and all the other people that was involved, but all rights and images that were created using WWE intellectual property, meaning Bray Wyatt, is owned by WWE. They're just taking it to the next level and saying that all championships that Wardlow wins are by right belonging to MJF. And MJF, I'm going to say it because fuck it. MJF being a Jew really makes this a very, very nutty segment. There's a lot to be said about Jews and contracts. All right. I ain't going to say it. I'm just going to throw it out there. Just going to say a lot about Jews and contracts. But I like this angle. And I like it because of that. It's so smarmy and so underhanded. And Wardlow didn't know about it. That's the thing that, in wrestling, you do, informed consent has to exist. You have to know when you create something. This is how Matt Hardy got into it with Impact over the Broken gimmick. And that's why WWE didn't want to use it. Matt Hardy created the Broken Universe while he was working in Impact. Impact or Anthem said, that's our intellectual property. You created it using our stuff. Matt Hardy argued with them about it. There is no argument to be made. It is owned by Impact. But But he basically just decided he was going to shame them into giving it to him, which he kind of did. They decided to, Impact can't monetize it. It's like the same thing with Bray Wyatt. WWE can't really monetize it without Bray Wyatt being there. At most, they could continue to sell T-shirts, but that's kind of smart of me too. And you still have to pay him, So, I mean, he might as well be there, right? So, this deal that Wardlow has that allows MJF to take things from him is a good thing. I like that. And I actually want to see that occur. It would have been nice if that would have actually just occurred. If Wardlow would have won the TNT title instead of Cody. And then the following week, MJF breaks out that contract and says, according to this, anything you do, any championships you earn, are rightfully mine. I am the TNT champion, not you. And then took the belt from him. It's always different. There's a thing about psychology. Saying no and then or taking something. Completely different concepts. If you say no to a baby about candy, they may cry. It's a little, it sucks to be told no. But give them something and then take it back. That's a completely different level of being pissed off. That's what we should have been going for here. If we was going to break this, bust that out, we should have saved it and let Wardlow actually achieve something and then had MJF take it from him. That would have gotten so much legitimate heat. And people would have been like, that's bullshit. And people would have been like, yeah, that is bullshit. But guess what? It's the contract that he signed. Fuck you. I'm the champion. Instant heat for MJF. Legitimate heat too. That didn't involve him name dropping other promotions. Didn't involve him being edgy or anyway. It's just him being a dick. Just like $1 Million Man. $1 Million Man said, hey, I'll buy the championship from Andre the Giant. Pfft. Nobody says I can't. It's smarmy, it's underhanded, and it works. Unfortunately for Ted DiBiase, it didn't work. But he has been on his crusade. At least it was for a little while, his crusade of make it official. I was on that for a little while. Try to get his WWE title reign recognized by the company. I think they're gonna end up doing it eventually. They're gonna end up recognizing quite a few title reigns over the next couple of years. I see. They did it with Hogan. They recognized his AEW title reigns, even though they shouldn't have. But whatever. But I love the MJF Wardlow stuff. This of course leads to the Wardlow match, where he beats some guy named Colin Delaney, who I feel like I've seen before. But he beats him with the Powerbomb Symphony. I actually love the sound, the name of that too. 4 powerbombs straight. Even though MJF told him not to do it, Shawn Spears put his hands on his hips and was like, "Bruh, weren't you told not to do this?" Still hit Colin Delaney with the chairs afterwards. Short, sweet. Wardlow was really getting over because they're doing something very simple with him and just having him wreck dudes. Which I was told this was a generic squash match. Now, I was told when you just go out there and be a big guy, find small guys, grab them, and do bad things to them, it's generic, and nobody will ever get over that way. I mean, weird, right? You grab big guy, grab small guy, slams him back and forth like the Hulk did Loki in that movie, and he's over. Surprise, surprise. This shit's been working for 50 fucking years, and all of a sudden some dipshit on Twitter thinks that it doesn't work anymore. In any event, moving on. Adam Cole, Undisputed Era, and the Young Bucks. Adam Cole called this the greatest group in wrestling history. The Young Bucks complained that Kyle O'Reilly has not spoken to them all week. He keeps just looking at them. He's not speaking to them. Kyle O'Reilly then facetiously tells them hello. Then says he wants to talk to Adam Cole. And then they're like, oh, anything you have to say to Adam, you can say to us. Adam tells them it's okay. They leave. Kyle O'Reilly asks Bobby Fish to exit as well. He does so. So Kyle O'Reilly is left with Adam Cole alone. And he talked about, there's heat between the two of us. But this is AEW. You know, now we're the paragons of AEW. I still call them Irrefutable Era. And I know Bobby Fish has my back tonight, but we'll see if you do. So they're acknowledging and sort of continuing the storyline from NXT, which they were joking that nobody watched. Whatever. It's all cliche stuff. Everybody wants to see them as Irrefutable Era. I mean Undisputed Era. I guess it's for the smart fans to interpret that they had a feud, and you could have easily just ignored that shit instead, or you could have just ended it here and said, "Man, all that other stuff is water under the bridge." This is a fresh start for us both. Let's give it another chance. And then Adam Cole could have been like, you know what, you're right. Let's just get over it. And then maybe you wanted to acknowledge it again later. That's cool, but it's got to be like some kind of love triangle. Whatever. The Best Friends versus the Irrefutable Era. That's what I call them. You may call them Adam Cole and Red Dragon. Bobby Fish came in and did some pretty cool strikes, which Orange Cassidy ducked and slipped, and it looked good. And then he did the fake kicks to the leg. At that point, I went out and I got a shawarma. Cut my shawarma in half, and I came back, and it was just guys all over the place. It was what it was, man. What did you expect? You expected these guys to go out there and have a real wrestling match? No, Orange Cassidy went out there and did Orange Cassidy stuff. Trent and the other guy went out there and did their stuff. And then guys jumped everywhere. It is what it is. It feels like we had the same match over and over and over again. It's so weird. So then to finish, the Young Bucks come in the ring. They super kick the Best Friends. Chasing the Dragon, which is the brain buster with the roundhouse kick to the head on, I believe it was Chuck Taylor. And they get the pin. At that point, Adam Cole is outside the ring, and the Young Bucks are celebrating with him while Red Dragon is in the ring. And it's like a custody battle for Adam Cole. Is it going to be the Young Bucks or is it going to be Red Dragon? Who's going to have custody of Adam Cole? Who gets the family Bible? Who knows, man? This is weird. Why would you book this? Why would you book it like this? You could have just made one big super group. Or you could have just done it the way that kind of makes sense. Which, the super group, but then Cole kind of just favors his guys because those are his guys, and the Young Bucks are kind of feel like they're losing their friend again, kind of like they did with Hangman, or whatever. But in this situation, man, it just seems very weird. I hate the Young Bucks. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I just hate the Young Bucks. I don't like them. Kyle O'Reilly means nothing to me. Bobby Fish, he looks cool. He looks like an old pirate. He looks like if you put him in a suit, he's like the most interesting man in the world. He'll wine you, dine you. He's like a Bond villain. But he's 48 years old or some shit. It's just, he's on his last legs. And look, and as far as everybody, I know there's a lot of WWE fans that are kind of jumping all over them for leaving and doing this. And I say, don't do that. This is just what the wrestling business is. The wrestling business is you get something in a territory, it works, and you take it to another territory as soon as it stops working in the territory that you found it in. That's just kind of how the business is. Hulkamania runs wild for 10 years in the WWF. As soon as it starts to slow down, you take that whole act and you jump to WCW and you start all over again. That's how it is. Macho Man Randy Savage, same thing. You take it to the next level. You take it somewhere else. You take they probably would never call it an act, but you would take your act and you would just go somewhere else. That's just kind of how it is. I don't have a problem with them going to AEW. It doesn't mean anything to me. I didn't like Kyle O'Reilly when he was in WWE. So it doesn't matter to me. I didn't like him when he was in Ring of Honor. I respect his in-ring skills, but I don't like him. He's boring. Bobby Fish is boring. They're just boring guys. Adam Cole is being made to be boring in this whole thing that they're doing here. It sucks. Speaking of boring, Dan Lambert came out there. And Dan Lambert talked about there nothing being cool about Cody. And he sees Arn sucking up to Cody and Cody sucks up to Khan. And then he says that Arn is not a horseman. He's not just a whore. Which leads him to Brandy. And Brandy he's a stripper name. And she's old and tired. And then Brandy comes out there. And she tries to channel that promo she had with Jade Cargill. When she comes out there full of piss and vinegar. Saying, who the hell told Joe bobbleheaded ass this was open mic night? Then she called him basically a second-rate Paul Heyman. To which Dan Lambert says that he prefers Jim Cornette. And then Brandy asked him, when was the last time you got beat up by a woman and didn't pay for it? Lambert then responded, there isn't somebody watching this show right now who wants to reach out and smack your face. But if I'm going to be the lucky guy, then so be it. This led Dustin to come out there, and of course Dustin got beat up. Okay. So I'm in this situation. We're watching this, right? The crowd could not care less about Dan Lambert. They don't give a fuck about Dan Lambert, all right? They also don't like Brandy. So they're booing Brandy. Dan Lambert is getting chuckles a little bit. They're reacting, when he's talking about the stripper name and all that kind of stuff. But Brandy is a part of the Cody package. They don't like them. So this is a heel program, according to most people. Dan Lambert is still trying to get Cody over. This is what we were told. We were told this on Rampage. His job is to get people to cheer Cody. He continues to fail that job. And Brandy, in trying to find her hoodness, if anything, she's got go away heat. Like, she has legitimate go away heat with most people. I don't know anybody who is looking forward to anything Brandy. A match, a promo, a segment, a show, a photo shoot, anything. I can't think of anybody who wants to see Brandy Rose do anything. I would be perfectly happy if Brandy Rose found one corner of her house, sat there for 32 years. I would be perfectly fucking happy if she did just that and nursed her baby. Just go find a corner that you feel needs your attention and pull a Jordan Peterson and just clean your room. Just go clean your fucking room. Go do anything else. Get off TV. All right? Brandy sucks at literally everything. I like her. I like the hood attempt. Like when she called herself like, oh, you're a black belt? Well, I'm a black bitch. And I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up. What? That's why I think she needs to go clean her room. Brandy, go clean your room. Please, go control what part of the universe you can control. All right? Go do that, please. Go nurse the baby, change the diapers, bounce her on your knee, breastfeed, do something. There has to be something else on this planet that requires your attention and that you are really, really good at, like scrubbing walls or, anything. Gossip on the phone like old women do. I don't care. Get your bitch ass off TV. Why is Brandy on TV cutting promos? Go away. That's go away heat. I don't want to see Brandy do anything. Nothing. There is no endeavor of professional or personal that I ever want to see Brandy Rhodes. Never. Never. Ever. And it's not just me. It ain't just me. It's hundreds of thousands of other people who are going to say, you know what? He's right. Brandy needs to fuck right on off. Permanently. Her contract needs to be terminated to a permanent end. If at all possible. Tony Khan needs to just give her the casino. I think it's time for you to go home. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time for you to go home. Where is his balls? Should have been told Brandy to fuck off. It wasn't just the point of getting her pregnant to get her to fuck off. That's usually my plan. My plan is usually this bitch is annoying. Somebody impregnate her so she can fuck off somewhere and have something else to do on planet Earth. Cody did that. He went and got the broad pregnant, and she ain't do shit but squat out that baby and come right back. Fuck. God damn it. So, Jade Cargill. How about that? That worked, didn't it? Jade Cargill versus Thunder Rosa. This was Jade Cargill's first real match ever. It's been like a year and a half. This is the first real match that Jade Cargill ever had. This is the first time she actually had to do a lot of selling too. Jade Cargill tearing her legs up with them leg kicks. It was actually not bad booking. Good decision because Jade Cargill is very tall. But it made Jade Cargill look very weird. Like, we really see how masculine she is when she's in there with somebody like Thunder Rosa. Because she's so much bigger than Thunder Rosa. So much more muscular than Thunder Rosa. And all I kept thinking of when I was thinking about Jade, and I don't dislike Jade. I don't think she can work at all. But I don't dislike Jade. I think Jade has a good personality and a good character. But I just kept hearing, Jade Cargill is Shelton Benjamin in a dress. That's all I kept thinking of the whole match. And that's not true. She is not Shelton Benjamin in a dress. You know, she's like LeBron James. No, I shouldn't say that. That's not right. Jade Cargill is not a man. Okay, chill. She's just very muscular and very big. You know, it was weird seeing her on the defense so much. But it was the right decision to make to force, in order for this match to really work, it had to put Jade Cargill in trouble. Now, Jade Cargill winning the match with some help from Smart Mark Sterling, I guess was the best decision. Like I said before, and I maintain it, Jade Cargill will win the TBS title. And then they're going to say the first black champion, first black singles champion is a woman. I'm guaranteeing you Excalibur is going to scream that shit as soon as it happens. She's going, the first black champion in AEW is Jade Cargill. And it's going to be like, yeah. Yeah, here's looking at you, Big Nasty. All your tweets about white people. I don't have no problems with Thunder Rosa losing. I mean, it is what it is. Especially if Jay's going to win the tournament. Not a big deal. If Jay's not going to win the tournament, then maybe you should have put Thunder Rosa over. Jade Cargill has to lose eventually. I know people think that her winning is a good thing because if you're building somebody up, they should always win. But at certain points, winning a lot does harm you because it does get boring. But the problem here is that they had not been, they've only recently, I should say, start to increase Jade Cargill's threats. Like, how many times are you going to beat Red Velvet? You know, just beat Red Velvet 100 times and Red Velvet tier women 100 times. And then finally she starts going against upper tier women. If she actually becomes the champion, she may have to actually wrestle higher tier women, which, you know, there aren't that many in AEW, to be quite honest. But it's a nice try. All right. So after this match, after Smart Mark Sterling cost Thunder Rosa the match, Thunder Rosa jumped up and attacked Jade again. This led a hooded figure, which we were told is a hooded man, to stomp out Thunder Rosa, a hooded man, a hooded gentleman. And after the hooded person takes their hood off, you could hear a baby fart in that arena. It was so quiet. It was so quiet. I thought I heard Tony Khan's net worth go down very slightly because he had brought in Mercedes Martinez. And no disrespect to Mercedes Martinez. I love her. But the lack of reaction for her was so stunning, especially considering how many people lost their shit when she got fired. Right? When she got fired, Everybody was losing their fucking minds. When she popped up in Impact, people thought, okay, this is good. I thought that. I was like, this is a great pickup for Impact. You know, this is excellent. And now she's in AEW. And I'm like, poor baby. Poor, sweet child. Why did you make this decision? I know it's got to be a money decision. Mercedes Martinez is finally in a position where to make a lot of money. I'm not going to begrudge her for jumping from Impact to AEW for the cash. Do it. But she is likely never going to be world champion in AEW. She is going to be the female Eddie Kingston. And take that how you want it. That could be super respected. And when somebody needs some legitimacy, they're going to throw them in the ring with you. You can beat them up. But at the end of the day, your shoulders are going to the mat. Just better be good enough on the microphone and talk yourself back up. Eddie Kingston can do it. He can go out there, talk about being a tough guy, talking about being from the streets, talk about how hard his life is, do the job, and then go back to talking about how tough his life is and get right back over. Mercedes Martinez has not shown that verbal dexterity yet. Does it mean she doesn't have it? I would think at this part of her career she probably doesn't. But I don't know what secret skills this woman has. So maybe she'll be able to get over. I just feel bad. I think Impact was perfect for her, if we're being honest. If Ring of Honor was still around, that would be perfect for her too. I'm thinking about places that will actually feature her and give her opportunities. In AEW, she is going to be female Eddie Kingston. Probably going to be a heavy for a smart Mark Sterling, which is almost essentially the same thing she was doing in TNA, NXT, when she was the bodyguard for Robert Stone for that, for those couple of weeks. And then it fell apart. But I felt so bad that she didn't get no reaction. I felt so bad. And what made me feel so bad about it, again, is that so many people had bigged her up so much when she got released. Everybody was talking about how great she was, how great a person she was, how great a talent she was, how WWE is missing out on her. And then this same audience who knows Mercedes Martinez, it's not like a stupid audience. This isn't some goober WWE audience from Des Moines, Iowa, or buttfuck Arizona. This is Daly's Place, the home of AEW. They get all the appropriate reactions to everybody. They liked Sammy Guevara. They liked 2.0 and all these guys. They liked all these guys. For them to see Mercedes Martinez and not react is the height of offense. That should have been a fucking red alarm. That's 2 weeks in a row that AEW have brought in essentially long-term journeymen that people begged Tony Khan to bring in. The internet begged him to bring in Kyle O'Reilly. He got crickets. They begged him to bring in Mercedes Martinez. Crickets. If I was Tony Khan, I would say, you know what, we're full. I know that there's a certain caked up young lady that's available now. Maybe that will be the last one we'll bring in. Maybe. But no mas, no more. All right, no more. Maybe we should just play with the toys we have and not go out and buy more toys. And I'm sorry, I forgot about Jeff Hardy, because you have to get Jeff Hardy if you can. But that's it. All right, that's it. No more. All right, no more secret surprise debuts, because people are still bitching about what happened to Jay Lethal. What did happen to Jay Lethal, by the way? Where is he? Never mind. All right. CM Punk cut a promo. Just a generic babyface promo where he talked about Jim Ross and John Huber. Said that MJF is a Twitter troll in the flesh. Scared. He's a pussy. Says that he wants to be the champion too, and that MJF is a bigger waste of time and a bigger waste of con money than Tim Tebow. And MJF learned that on this microphone, on commentary, yada yada, nobody can touch him. It would be a shame if somebody interfered with MJF's quest for gold. And I know this is, of course, just a seed for them running into each other later. But we should have already done that, right? We should have just put CM Punk in that. If we were going to... Okay, let's slow down a little bit. It seems to me like we just formally agreed that this feud is over. That pisses me off. Of course, they're going to just pick it up later. I know that. But it seems like we just agreed that MJF said, oh, look, CM Punk doesn't want to fight me. He's a pussy. We're moving on. And CM Punk just said, MJF is a pussy. He doesn't want to fight me. I'm moving on. And, but we'll see each other eventually. And I'm just kind of like, eventually? When has anybody just hit hard pause on a feud? Like, yeah, I was just talking shit about you 2 weeks ago. And I was talking about you 30 seconds ago. I was talking shit about you, but we're not really feuding. Just hard pause. We'll get back to it when we get back to it. Like, what? Look, I know. Don't use WWE logic to book AEW. That's what I was told. But can we use logic? Period. Any logic? You don't just agree to not fight anymore. If anything, why would Tony Khan let such a big money match go unbooked? That's the thing where you would consider a general manager or something like that. Like, man, look, there's a lot of money on the table here. You guys can't just agree to not fight each other and we'll see each other eventually. That's bullshit. That's time for that heat to die down. Why would you want the heat to dissipate? What are you doing? You can't, this isn't some kind of, we're going to cook it on high for 3 weeks and then turn it down and let it simmer. Like, I don't know about that one, B. I don't know about that one. I don't think that can work. Now, it is what it is. He just had a generic babyface promo. CM Punk is cutting generic babyface promos. People like it. I guess that's good. The Tim Tebow dig, I like that. That was not bad. But I'm just generally tired of Phil. I mean, I already know, man. Y'all already know I don't like this guy. So Starks and Hobbs, and they're talking about Hook. That now that Jim Ross is back, Taz can focus on Hook. And okay, good. Then they said Dante Martin screwed up his chance to have any type of career. Basically alluded to Leo Rush holding him back, even though he wasn't really with Leo Rush that long. Then Hobbs asked Dante Martin if he wanted to go for round 2, which we didn't get an answer to that. Sammy Guevara came out there to do his card gimmick, where he put out his completely garbage TNT title record or whatever. Then say his New Year's resolution to get his title back. Well, it should be. Well, congratulations on coming up with the obvious. Then the Brian Pillman Jr. promo, where they tried to reheat this cold fish. So Brian Pillman Jr. is dead in the water. All right. He got no reaction because they killed him several weeks ago with MJF. Then he talked about how his brother walked into the House of Black. He'll never forget the sound of the bell ringing again and again as Aleister Black or Malachi Black did horrible things to his brother. He jumped in the ring trying to protect him and he got attacked. And he said that next week you're going to see a new Brian Pillman Jr. This led Malachi Black to appear to virtually no reaction. Take his take his antlers off and disappear. And Brian Pillman Jr. stood there nodding his head. There was a faint Brian Pillman chant, very faint. You have to listen very, very hard. You have to turn your TV up loud, maybe 88 or something like that, in order to hear it. It's very faint. But he got literally almost nothing. Almost no reaction. That's so embarrassing. Considering he was also one of the top prospects for AEW. They went through all the trouble of bringing him in from MLW for nothing. But I'm glad to see it. It seems like the Varsity Blondes are done. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully the Varsity Blondes are finished and Brian Pillman Jr. can be a solo act. But at the same time, there really is no room for another underneath babyface on AEW's roster. There's simply too many. They could use another good, solid tag team. I'm not sure if Griff Garrison's the right guy, but he could probably get more opportunities in a tag team right now than he probably could get as a singles act. If Sammy Guevara, who they have basically earmarked as being the future, got jobbed out by Cody after about 2 months as champion, if he can't really get a spot, if Darby Allin, who is now relegated to wrestling the Acclaimed on Rampage, I mean, he's in the weeds. Darby Allin has had a feud since the CM Punk thing ended. He is just Sting's little buddy. If those two guys are in the lurch, what the fuck are they got for Brian Pillman? Nothing. The likelihood they have anything for Brian Pillman, not likely at all. He's probably better off in a tag team. Not the Varsity Blondes. That sucks. Maybe something else. And I get it. Varsity Blondes are kind of a starter gimmick. Everybody got to have baby first gimmick. But, I'm willing to give him a chance to see what he's got going on from the future. I'm always willing to give a young guy a chance. So I really want to see what he's going to do. But also with this as well is Malachi Black's lack of reaction. How people don't care about him anymore either. How Andrade haven't been on this show in forever. I think it's been 3 weeks at least, hasn't it? Maybe 2. They keep bringing in people. The reaction is getting lower and lower. All of this is bad. This was not good. Look, some people probably enjoyed this show because they don't mind the 6-man tags and the 8-man tags and the 10-man tags. But it's too frequent for me. And then it's too much on one show. How many people did they have on this show? They had at least 60 people on this show. At least 60. They had an absurd amount of people on this show. You gotta think about that, man. What is their budget for one episode? And people think Vince McMahon is like some kind of super asshole when he says, I gotta pay 4 guys for one match. We talk about tag team wrestling. Imagine paying 10 guys for one match. Again and again. That's expensive. They get expensive very fast. Tony Khan got deep pockets though, man. He got very, very deep pockets, and he's gonna play with the toys he got. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not against him. I just think it's weird, especially when you're trying to get new viewers and they're trying to figure out who and what is going on, and you're constantly re-debuting people constantly re-debuting people, constantly dropping angles and picking them up, weeks later, constantly de-emphasizing certain people and emphasizing others. There's no consistency. Like, you can't book your show like The Walking Dead until it has Walking Dead success. Like Walking Dead, right? When they first started, it didn't do what it do in the later episodes. In the later episodes, what they did is it expanded the cast. It wasn't just about Rick and his family anymore. They expanded the cast, so now there would be episodes that wouldn't even have Rick and Carl and all them in it. It would just be an episode following. I don't remember none of the characters' names. Whatever, the black chick with the dreadlocks. It may be just like episode just following her around as she goes to forage for food or something like that. And that would be enthralling to people because they, over the years, seasons watched her and is interested in what she's doing. And when she goes off on her own. You can't do that in the early seasons until we know who she is and we become, fond of her. In AEW, they try to take you on this journey and they just want to keep reintroducing people. And it's like, you can't do that. You can't take Jade Cargill off TV for 2 months and then bring her back and everybody's supposed to care. You can't take Thunder Rosa off TV for 4 months, 5 months, or whatever, however long it's been. I don't care about her having a 100 million wins on Dark. She ain't been on TV in forever. You know, you can't just take Brian Pillman off TV ever since he lost to MJF and then suddenly bring him back. It doesn't work that way, dog. There needs to be some consistency. Be consistent. You know, that's the basics right there, man. That's part of the stop start booking. WWE does that a lot too. They'll stop your push very quickly and then try to restart it later on some dumb shit. AEW has to stop it. You know, find you a list of people that are going to be on the show in some capacity every week. CM Punk is on that list. You know, Bryan Danielson is on that list. Britt Baker is on that list. Adam Cole seems to be on that list. Jungle Boy and the Young Bucks, they seem to be on that list. I know the underneath talent, they likely won't be. The Pillmans. But then you have to, ask the question. Is Malachi Black underneath guy? He's not featured every week. They didn't even do a follow-up to his House of Black segment. No follow-up to that. So, it is what it is, man. They drop... Again, when you tell people about something and then it doesn't happen the next week, or there is no build from the next week, people can either A, assume that it's over, or B, assume that it's not important enough for you to mention every week, or at least when Veer is coming or Veer Mahan promos, at least it's every week. It's keeping people in his conscious, keeping him in their consciousness, because it's every single week. It's not 1 week on, 1 week off. It's like Elias. Imagine if they started doing Elias is returning promos out of nowhere after dropping it for like 4 months. People would be like, I forgot all about this guy. It's the same thing here. You have a show full of people folks forgot about. You didn't do a good job. This tournament has been absolute shit. The women's tournament has been shit. There has not been that much interaction between the people in the tournament. Nobody's been talking about their future opponents. Sure, they've been short vignettes, but none of these people are featured on TV. Not regularly. It makes it very hard to follow. Just saying. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. I need more thumbs up on these videos. I have a lot more views than I have thumbs up. I need to have that thumb up ratio to views need to get a little bit closer. I appreciate you guys and your time. I'll talk to you guys later.